So tomorrow we will be back on the roll with the training camp darling series. We've already done offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and running backs. Tomorrow's video is going to be the linebackers, which is going to be, ironically, I think, for the roster that the Chiefs have, a very, very exciting group of players. But every once in a while, when you do this for so many hours a week, you come across threads of things that just sort of tickle your fancy and things that should be obvious perhaps when you start thinking about where were the Chiefs weak last year, what would the Chiefs like to turn around this year. But guys, probably I have never been a fan of a team that does attack their weaknesses in quite the same way as do the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember, after that alleged Super Bowl loss to the Buccaneers, Brett Veach said, all right. And he got Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Joe Thuney all in the same offseason. Unfortunately, the tackle situation still wasn't solved, and that came back to bite us a couple years later. But the Chiefs have not really had a great offense for a little while now, despite the fact that Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback. And I want to read you a little bit from a series of articles. This comes to us from 8 NFL players with the best chances to turn into superstars in 2025 from Bleacher Report by Brad Gagnon. Every year, players take that next step at various positions. We saw it from Jahmyr Gibbs in 2024 and arguably from Justin Herbert as well. Certainly Derek Stingley Jr. on defense. Who looks to be most primed to reach that level and become a superstar in 2025? Here are 8 young players on our radar. Wouldn't you know it? Xavier Worthy happens to be among them. Speaking of finishing strong, Xavier Worthy did exactly that with 243 yards and 3 touchdowns in the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl for the Chiefs. The 22-year-old is one of the fastest players in the sport, the fastest official player in the sport, thank you, and there's a clear path for him to become Patrick Mahomes' number 1 target in the Kansas City offense, considering there is no established top dog and Travis Kelce is fading. With his first full offseason under his belt for 2025, we wouldn't be surprised if we saw shades of 2018 Tyreek Hill from Worthy this fall. I would be surprised about that, but mostly because I think that Worthy's game is going to be different from Hill's game. I think that the speed is the only thing they have in common. I think that Tyreek Hill is a true number 1 wide receiver. I don't know that Xavier Worthy is. I think that Xavier Worthy offers more flexibility around the edges of things than Tyreek Hill ended up providing, but a lot of that was because Tyreek Hill was so valuable as a wide receiver. Remember all of those times where Tyreek Hill got carries prior to Mahomes being the quarterback, and sometimes it just happened to be a one cut and it worked out type of run. Xavier Worthy is still going to be able to do those things in the Chiefs offense the way he was last year against the Ravens in week 1. But I think that this article sort of points toward the general acceptance of the fact that the Chiefs offense is going to be different in 2025 than 2024 and 2023 and maybe even 2022. But that's just a feeling, right? That's just a feeling. Well, we have this from NBC Sports. Xavier Worthy. Andy Reid told us to get our hamstrings ready from NBC Sports by Miles Simmons. Though the Chiefs won the AFC for the third consecutive season in 2024, quarterback Patrick Mahomes finished with a finished the year with a career-low 6.8 yards per attempt. That signified how Kansas City's offense was not able to stretch the field throughout the year. Mahomes noted during the offseason program that the Chiefs plan to change that in 2025 with a healthy receiving core. In an interview with Up and Adams this week, speedy second-year wide receiver Xavier Worthy reiterated that notion. Coach Andy Reid told us during OTAs, Phase 1, when you come back, get your hamstrings ready, Worthy said. So he kind of knew that we were going to be going a little deep in practice. So we kind of got our bodies and our minds ready for what we were going to be doing in practice. Playing long seasons over the last few years, Reid has let the players work remotely for Phase 1 before coming into the team facility for Phase 2 for in-person work. I think that's actually a good move. The Chiefs have had so many postseason games the past few years since Patrick Mahomes became quarterback, right? Every year going all the way to the AFC Championship game, that is a lot of extra wear and tear on these guys. But Reid also runs a notoriously tough training camp. So Worthy and the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs receivers will need to be in top shape for their first practices of the summer later this month. Then we get this. We had Up and Adams with Xavier Worthy. Why not Up and Adams with Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes says the Chiefs need to get back to having fun again. On Monday, the quarterback appeared on Up and Adams with Kay Adams. This is an article from Arrowhead Pride by Rocky Magana. Reclaiming joy. I suppose I did not get the R there. Kansas City's expectations are sky high, and sometimes that pressure can dull the joy of the game. At the end of the day, Mahomes said the team needs to get back to having fun again.
I don't want to say it was pressure, but last year guys wanted to go out there and win every single week.
Not because it was fun, but because we were supposed to. Let's go out there and have fun. The wins will come if we play the way we know we can play. What does that mean? What does that mean? Have fun. What do you think Patrick Mahomes thinks when he says he's going to have fun playing football? Do you think it's probably the way he played at Texas Tech? Do you think it's probably closer to the way that he played in 2018 than the way that he played in 2024? I think probably it is. You pair this with the fact that Andy Reid is telling his receivers, hey man, I'm gonna let you have a little extra space this offseason, but make sure your hamstrings are ready. For anyone who doesn't know, I mean, this isn't, I guess, the most common of knowledge. The hamstrings are what make you run fast. That's why all the fastest guys in the NFL are constantly having hamstring problems. Everyone knows. Look, they had the pressure on them last year to make it to the Super Bowl and win again because it would be the first time that had happened. They got back to the Super Bowl. They did not win. Guess what happens now? All the pressure is off. There's nothing really to lose. So every once in a while, I think Andy Reid is just going to dial one up and let Patrick Mahomes do whatever he wants. You want to run around a little bit, run around a little bit. You want to just say, hey,
I mean, Xavier's down there somewhere.
Then pull the trigger. In this same interview, we get this from the Arrowhead Pride article. Mahomes' deepest wide receiver room yet. A significant part of why Mahomes is optimistic? The depth at the wide receiver position this season. It might be the deepest group he's had his entire career. It's going to be hard to make cuts, he admitted. We have so many great receivers. We could be 8-9 deep with guys I could see making this roster. Last season, injuries decimated the receiver core. But this year, with everyone healthy, Mahomes sees firepower everywhere. It's going to come back from everywhere. Obviously, you got Rashee Rice coming back. He looks great. You've got Xavier Worthy, who came on strong at the end of last year. You've got Hollywood Brown. He's healthy again. Guys everywhere. We have so many weapons. And I think that really points to what they have tried to do the past couple of years. Sometimes you don't get everything you want on the first go. Brett Veach was able to build an elite interior offensive line in a single offseason. It was the tackle positions that kind of were more difficult to do. Brett Veach has spent a very long time accumulating a piece here and a piece there for a wide receiver core. All of a sudden, if everyone's healthy, they have a very deep group at wide receiver, and no one is going to light that scoreboard up quite like Patrick Mahomes. That's all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.